back to that sound. Stop share. Welcome back to the N.y.a show, episode 107. Appreciate you guys for checking out the show. As always, I hope you guys had great weeks. The weather was a little crazy and it's a little weird now. So I don't know how it is wherever you guys preside in, but be sure to always share, like, support the show. I know everybody picks up on these stories and these different things that happen throughout the week. So it's just like I come into it usually just off the strength of today and everything that's popping off so that we can kind of move into next week and kind of like see what the cycle, everything gonna go. Now, I'm gonna also make sure that you guys see, because it's the first time that I wore it, but this is the N.y.a show hoodie. This is the N.y.a show hoodie. And hold up, listen, you're the man, you know that. I think that's from the intro I just played. I think that's from the intro that I just played. Though, a shout out to wifey for that. You know what I'm saying, straight up. But it's, if anybody is, I'll put all the information that's needed if we want to get something popping like that. But shout out to everybody who supported the show. It's the N.y.a show, episode 107. And the first thing that we're gonna that we're gonna check into this week is something that's going on in Nairobi, which is in a town over in Kenya on the continent of Africa. But Kenya, of course, as I always tell you guys, Kenya is a country of its own over in Africa, and Nairobi is a certain sector of Kenya, and things not going too good right now. And I want to take a little moment for us to look into it, and we'll talk about it throughout the video. But let me go ahead and share this.
Kenya's Nairobi River is becoming increasingly polluted by residential sewage and industrial contaminants. As clean water runs short, one of Africa's fastest growing cities is struggling to balance the needs of creating jobs and protecting the environment.
We were young, we could cross the river into this other estate and go have some fun out there and then come back to the same river and just cross, But right now, considering the amount of pollution that's inside this river, it's difficult for someone to cross this river barefoot. Kwa sababu mtu anaweza umia because of the broken glasses and all that from the industries like in the light industries and other industries out there.
Downstream of the growing pollution problem, the other.
Now, I can feel them on that because I went to the beach and this is just on some normal shit. I went to the beach here in the States, and I was like, I should have had those little shoes on because literally I could feel like stuff just pressing into my feet. So imagine what he's talking about. Now, okay, now take that and imagine what he's talking about. He used to be able to cross over the river to go holler at some folks, have a good time, and come back barefooted. But because you got to remember that everybody doesn't have what you take to be a normal, necessity. So now it's too hard to do that now because you're going to tear up your damn feet trying to go across the motherfucker.
The river area is a source of many vegetables sold in Nairobi markets, as well as killing plants. The Nairobi river pollution is affecting the way of life for families in the rapidly growing downstream suburb of the river.
And you basically have a town higher up above them that's growing, as becoming, a highlight. And their stuff, their pollution, everything they flushing out, all they sewer lines got turned into this river and it's coming down, coming downstream straight into their waterway. And they can't even really get no good water unless it's coming from the weather, straight up from, falling from the sky. That's when the best water comes through. When it gets still again,
Farming has been challenging. The main challenge is water. Sometimes the water is good, but other times it's not. Mainly the water is good when it's raining because the river will be cleaned. But when the rain stops, the water is salty and has a lot of chemicals in it. Problems start upstream, where informal settlements like Korogocho have directed some of their sewer lines into the river. The slum has more than 35,000 adults, according to the 2019 national census.
All the rivers in Nairobi, one of the biggest polluters is solid waste, and we are yet to find a solution. So we saw the element of introducing the circular economy model.
Still no solution for what are we going to do about looking in the water. You see glass bottles, cigarette boxes, tater chip bags, clothes, shoes.
In addressing solid waste has worked. It just needs to be replicated. So besides that, another problem that we discovered that our rivers is facing is poor sanitation, especially in informal settlements. You see, like in Kibra, very few toilets are connected to the sewers. So all all the waste from these toilets, these pit latrines, ends up in the river. So since 2019, we were able to collaborate with the Ministry of Water and Sanitation and at Water Agency in constructing 19 ablution blocks.
The new government has formed a commission whose mandate is to clean up and restore the Nairobi River Basin. No deadline has been announced yet, and no budget. The commission has yet to meet.
So basically, the higher ups have stepped in and said, hey, this is not right. We got to do something about it when it comes to this water. But no meetings have been had yet, and no true solutions have been put on the table for what they're going to, for what they plan to do about it. I had a girl when I was in college, 4 years ago now, tell me that DeKalb County was fit to be another Flint, Michigan, based off of the way that our water is kept up here. So if someone told me that about a place here that's supposed to be well developed, what in the hell, do we truly think is going on in somewhere like this over here in Kenya? What do you really think is going on there? Then, like I said, you can't even use half of the stuff that's coming out of the water. Like we take for granted that you could just run in there, run a little rinse water, we just waste water. You know what I'm saying? It's to the fact that they have to literally get the good water when it's raining. When the rain stop, back to the bullshit. Imagine putting that shit in your cup noodle. You want to eat some cup noodles and you look and the fucking water is great. Y'all seen the video on that pipe? That shit was great coming out that pipe. So just imagine that for my cup noodles. Just imagine you gotta wait until it rains for some fresh water to come through to fill up in your jug so that you can have the right thing. Most people don't really be thinking about that. Now, let's talk about how the U.S., this story from a couple of days ago, how the U.S. has joined Germany in sending battle tanks to Ukraine. Basically, everyone is on the West is trying to pull a united front, and Germany on the United States came out with their announcement of the tanks going over soon after Germany as another way of supporting them. Like, it's good to stick our neck out there. And then the United States followed up on top of them and stuck their neck out there. And you must know that this is United States sending tanks over to Ukraine for battle. That has been an opposition for a while if they want to do it or not, because they don't know if the people, they don't know, and I even read here that the people know how to operate these things. So technically, you about to put some untrained people in some high-tech tanks going against Russia, who may not have the flyest tanks, but they're going to still attack. And if they know how to use them, you know what I'm saying? So you can get your new Gidget gadget, but we're going to blow that mug up just like we would blow up the normal, you know what I'm saying, the ones that look like ours. So the decision to deliver the M1 Abrams tanks was announced just hours after Germany said they would be sending 14. They're sending 14. The United States is sending 31. I think they've mentioned that maybe 300 are needed to actually feel like they have a winning chance. Ukraine has been lobbying, the Western allies for a while about military equipment, and the United States is all going to get them the tools and supplies that they need for the upkeep of the tanks as well. So this twin announcement between Germany and the United States was a turning point that would allow the military to regain some momentum over there and take back some different areas in Ukraine that almost a year after Moscow was invaded. So it also says the tanks can help deter potential Russian offense in the spring. So when it warms back up, when Russia says, okay, I'm back in full gear now, it's a chance to kind of put a blocker up and be some type of defense against that when you're supplying them with these tanks. It's an important step to the path of victory, the Ukraine president said today. The free world is united as never before for a common goal, liberation of Ukraine. Russia, meanwhile, condemned the moves as a blatant provocation. I think, trying to provoke them to do something, and said that any supply and tanks will be destroyed just like the rest. As I mentioned, we don't care if you got the new fly and the new fancy shit. We're gonna take it down just like anything else. They expected for the United States and Europe to be weakened, and that's what Joe Biden says. That's what Putin thought, that he was going to be right in about our relationship. He said he was wrong then, and he's wrong now. So this whole time, Joe Biden has kind of always let his nuts hang on this whole situation with Ukraine. That's another the reason that I'm not too sure about what's truly going on here, because this has been a lot of nut hanging when it comes to how he talk when he get up there to that podium. We're giving Ukraine the best, the parts, necessary things that they need. A typical tank, let's see, a tank, a battalion typically consists of 31 tanks, which is why, okay, so a good battle size is 31 tanks. The U.S. decision, however, marks reversal in their position, as Biden administration has insisted for some time that the heavy M1 Abrams tanks would be difficult to operate, expensive to maintain, and challenging for Ukraine troops to operate. So this could come out and be a gigantic L for the United States, absolute gigantic L. Here's a picture of the model that we're talking about. The military view is one of the most model ones that they have. This $400 million American package also includes 8 recovery vehicles that can tow the tanks if they become stuck, but it's likely to be many months before the tanks can be reached. So let's also remember that even though we're hearing this now, this doesn't mean that they're about to automatically be dropping tanks out of the sky over there in Ukraine. It will take time before they can get these tanks. When asked if the U.S. decision was designed to give Germany cover to send tanks, what I spoke about when I first got on this subject, National Security spokesperson John Kirby said, "I wouldn't use the word cover. What this decision does do is show how united we are with our allies." He attributed the change in Washington's position to the conditions on the ground, as well as Russia's tactics, without giving further details. Hey, we decided to make the decision based off of what Russia's doing. So we're going to see how this whole situation works out. When are they going to actually be delivered, and what's going to happen on the battlefield? Because early on in this fight, we saw stuff get blown up. How like war tactics is what's going on over there in Nairobi, where you can't even get proper water because you can't do business right, you can't cook right, you can't do a lot of things without clean water. So that, to me, that's a form of war. Russia was blowing up schools, they were blowing up hospitals. Like, this is war. Like, we got to hit y'all where it hurt, and that's the same type of thing that they're trying to deliver back when they're delivering these tanks over to Ukraine, and hoping that this kind of gives them some type of edge over Russia in this whole war and what the outcome would be. So you guys let me know what you think about the United States dropping $400 million to give 31 tanks to Ukraine troops so they can be better, so they can defend against Russia as we go into this new, as we run into spring, as Putin and Russia may regain some type of mojo and really go in for even more destruction. So you guys let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think it's a good idea that we decided to drop all this over there on people who were being told barely know how to operate it? Or do you think that they're just doing what they need to do to further advance them, and they'll figure out the mechanics of it when they get it? Just let me know what your thoughts are on that. Now let's tune into something that's going on that happened right here local. Once again, y'all, you have to be careful with guns. Reckless behavior with guns always leads to someone losing their life. Boyfriend accidentally kills girlfriend while playing with a gun. This is Atlanta police are investigating the shooting that took place when a boyfriend accidentally shot his girlfriend while playing with a gun. On Saturday, they responded to Northside apartment complex located on a disclosed street after they received an anonymous call about a person shot. The police located a woman gun with a gunshot wound to the chest. During the initial investigation, police were able to access footage from a Ring camera that shows the victim and her boyfriend were out in the breezeway of the apartment complex when a gun that the boyfriend was playing with went off and it struck the young lady in the chest. His immediate reaction, you can tell that it was definitely an accident. Captain Tom Azert said. Police said that this couple does not live in the apartment complex, that they were just visiting a friend. At the time, they could not. At the time, the boyfriend, who has not been identified, is in custody, and the charges are pending for what's going to go there. The victim was transported to a nearby hospital where she died from her injuries. Let's say RIP to this young lady, and send our condolences to her family, all her loved ones. This could be a mother. This is definitely a daughter. This is a niece, a cousin. This lost, that lost her life unexpectedly, not even intended. Like, because honestly, like they said, based off the police report, the brother didn't mean to do it. You know what I'm saying? How can I don't know if I can even say a brother. I don't know if they didn't put out any names. and they didn't put out any race. So it could be any type. It could be. It may not be a brother, but I would take it to be an accident. But at the end of the day, y'all, even with these accidental gun going off, someone still has to pay for the body. Someone still got to pay for the body. At the end of the day, it was a life loss, so someone got to pay for the body. And we're going to see what comes from this story too. I'm pretty sure what was it, WSB TV? They'll put another update on the story out when some more information is released. Just like the story I did a couple weeks ago about the young man that was killed at his job while he was trying to change, check out the brakes on the vehicle, and the person, the guy whose car was, thought the vehicle was being stolen and fired at him, and they killed him. Initially, I didn't know what the shooter looked like, but within 48 hours, a couple of days within that week that I did that story, I think I posted it in the community section that they had caught the guy, and it was just that quick. Because when these type of situations, they put the story out, that initial story, then they put pictures up because it's all clicks, and views at the end of the day. So the N.y.a show 107.